Your feelings are persuasive, they sound urgent, they feel honest, but they are unreliable leaders. Every time you wait to feel ready, your life quietly stalls. Feelings rise and fall with sleep, stress, praise, and rejection. They were never designed to build long-term results. Stoicism begins with a harder truth. Progress requires obedience to principle, not emotion. A plan is made when your mind is clear, calm, and rational. It represents your highest judgment about who you want to become. When discomfort appears, feelings argue for comfort, delay, and escape. The Stoic refuses the debate and executes anyway. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the task in front of you is always enough. Epictetus taught that freedom starts when you stop being ruled by impulses. This is not about becoming cold, it is about becoming stable. If you want control over your life, stop following what you feel. Follow what you decided, especially on the days you feel least like it. Today, 1. Feelings are unreliable advisors. When you begin to see feelings for what they truly are, something shifts inside you. You stop arguing with yourself and stop negotiating with discipline. You realize that emotional resistance is not a message telling you to quit, but a signal that something important is being asked of you. This realization is quiet, but it is powerful. It removes drama from effort and replaces it with clarity and resolve. Most people wait for emotions to line up before they act. They believe motivation must come first, confidence second, and action last. Stoicism reverses this order completely. Action comes first. Confidence follows behavior. Motivation often appears only after movement begins. When you act despite resistance, you teach your mind a critical lesson. Feelings do not own you. Authority returns to your choices, one deliberate decision at a time. There is deep relief in this approach. You no longer wake up and scan your emotions to decide who you will be today. You already decided. Your plan was created when your mind was calm, rational, and honest. It was not written in frustration, fear, or fatigue. By honoring that plan, you protect yourself from the version of you that seeks comfort at the expense of growth. This does not mean becoming harsh or emotionally numb. Stoicism is not self-punishment. It is self-respect expressed through consistency. You acknowledge how you feel without letting it set the standard for how you live. You say, "I see this discomfort, and I will move forward anyway." Over time, this builds a quiet confidence that does not depend on mood, validation, or external reassurance. Think about how much energy is wasted each day debating actions you already know you should take. This inner negotiation drains focus and creates friction. When feelings are removed from the decision-making process, that noise disappears. There is nothing left to argue about. The question is no longer whether you feel like doing the work, but whether it aligns with your plan. That answer is usually clear. A person who follows feelings lives reactively. A person who follows a plan lives intentionally. One is pulled by circumstance and internal weather. The other moves by choice and principle. This difference may seem small in a single day, but over years it creates entirely different lives. One becomes unstable and easily shaken. The other becomes grounded and steady under pressure. Stoicism teaches that freedom is not doing whatever you feel in the moment. That is impulse disguised as choice. Real freedom is the ability to decide how you respond, regardless of how you feel. It is the power to act in alignment with values when it would be easier to retreat. This is why disciplined people appear calm under stress. They are not fighting themselves internally. The decision has already been made. As you practice this way of living, something unexpected happens. Feelings begin to lose their intensity. Not because they disappear, but because they are no longer feared or indulged. They pass more quickly when they are observed rather than obeyed. Emotional storms fade faster when they are no longer allowed to steer your actions. This is how inner stability is built. Not by eliminating emotion, but by refusing to let it rule your life. You become someone you can trust, someone who shows up when it is uncomfortable, someone whose word to themselves carries weight. When you follow your plan instead of your feelings, you're not denying your humanity, you are honoring your highest potential. Over time, that choice compounds into a life that feels strong, grounded, and quietly unbreakable. 2. Your plan is the voice of your calm mind. A plan is not just a list of tasks written on paper. It is the voice of your calmest, clearest self speaking into the future. It is created when you are not angry, not tired, not desperate for comfort or approval. In that moment of clarity, you decide what matters, what you are willing to endure, and who you are committed to becoming. That decision deserves respect, especially when a weaker moment tries to override it. Most people underestimate how intelligent their calm mind truly is. When you sit down to plan with honesty, you are using your highest faculties: reason, foresight, and self-awareness. You are seeing beyond today's discomfort and considering the long arc of your life. The plan you create in that state is not random. It is the product of experience, mistakes, lessons, and hard-earned insight. Ignoring it later is not intuition. It is emotional sabotage. When emotions rise, they speak loudly and persuasively. They tell you that today is different, that rest is necessary, that delay is harmless, that quitting can be justified. But emotions do not carry memory. They do not remember why you started. They do not account for the cost of inconsistency. Your plan does. Your plan remembers the promises you made to yourself when you were thinking clearly. This is why Stoicism places such importance on preparation. Marcus Aurelius did not wait for chaos to decide how he would act. He reminded himself daily of the kind of man he intended to be. He understood that when pressure comes, you do not rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. A plan is made visible. There is dignity in honoring decisions made in clarity. When you follow your plan on a difficult day, you are not just completing a task. You are reinforcing an identity. You're telling yourself, I am someone who can be trusted. That trust compounds. Each time you act in alignment with your plan, self-respect grows quietly in the background. Many people live in a constant cycle of redeciding. Every day they reopen questions that should have been settled long ago. Should I train today? Should I work on this goal? Should I keep this boundary? This endless negotiation is exhausting. A plan removes that burden. It closes the debate. The work is already chosen. Your only job is execution. This does not mean rigidity without reflection. A Stoic plan is not stubbornness. It is flexible in strategy but firm in principle. You may adjust methods, timing, or approach, but the commitment remains intact. The destination does not change just because the road feels uncomfortable. This distinction is what separates discipline from obsession. When you trust your plan, you stop seeking permission from your emotions. You no longer need to feel confident to act. You no longer need reassurance to continue. You move because you decided to move. This creates a sense of inner stability that external chaos cannot easily shake. Even on difficult days, there is a quiet order beneath the struggle. Epictetus taught that if you want to improve, you must accept appearing foolish to those who live by impulse. Following a plan in a world addicted to feelings will sometimes look strange. Others will quit, complain, and rationalize. You will continue, not because you are stronger emotionally, but because you are clearer mentally. Over time, something remarkable happens. The plan that once required effort to follow becomes natural. Discipline stops feeling like force and starts feeling like alignment. You're no longer pushing yourself forward. You're simply being who you decided to be. Your plan is not restrictive, it is liberating. It frees you from the tyranny of mood and the chaos of impulse. It allows you to live with intention instead of reaction. And in that consistency, a deeper peace begins to form, one built not on feeling good, but on knowing you are living in truth with yourself. 3. Emotion is the test, not the signal. Emotion does not disappear when you choose discipline. It simply changes its role. This is where most people misunderstand Stoicism and give up too early. They think strength means feeling nothing, when it actually means feeling everything without obeying it. A plan does not erase fear, boredom, or doubt. It places them in the background. When pressure hits, emotion will always argue its case first. It will sound reasonable, protective, and urgent. It will remind you of how tired you are, how unfair things feel, and how easy it would be to stop. If you listen long enough, it will always find an excuse that feels justified. This is why Stoicism trains you to decide before the storm, not during it. Your plan exists to protect you when your judgment is under attack. It is a structure you lean on when willpower feels unreliable. Without a plan, emotion fills the vacuum and takes control. With a plan, emotion becomes noise rather than command. There is a moment every disciplined person recognizes. It arrives quietly, usually when no one is watching. You are tired, tempted, distracted, or discouraged. Nothing dramatic is happening, yet everything is being decided. At that moment, following your plan feels heavy, almost pointless. This is where most people break. The Stoic recognizes it as the exact moment that matters most. Discipline is not proven on easy days. It is proven when acting feels inconvenient and unrewarded. Each time you act anyway, you weaken the authority of impulse. You are not crushing emotion, you are educating it. You are teaching yourself that discomfort does not equal danger. Slowly, this changes your internal landscape. You stop reacting automatically. You pause, observe, and move with intention. This is emotional maturity, not suppression. Over time, following your plan begins to reshape how you experience emotion itself. Fear still appears, but it no longer paralyzes you. Boredom still visits, but it no longer dictates your behavior. Doubt still whispers, but it no longer decides. You become steady, not because life is easier, but because you are ordered within. This inner order creates a rare form of confidence. It is quiet, unshowy, and difficult to shake. You trust yourself because your actions match your intentions. That trust becomes the foundation of self-respect. When you live this way, emotions lose their power to threaten your identity. They pass through you instead of steering you, and with each disciplined choice, you step further into the freedom Stoicism promises. Not freedom from feeling, but freedom from being ruled. This is the kind of strength that endures long after motivation fades. It is built quietly, daily, and deliberately. And once formed, it becomes part of who you are. No mood can take it away. No excuse can easily undo it. This is the reward of following your plan when feelings resist. You gain yourself, and that gains compounds into a life of quiet strength and control. Each disciplined response becomes evidence that you are no longer at war with yourself. The conflict between desire and duty begins to dissolve. What remains is a steady rhythm of action guided by principle. This rhythm carries you forward even when clarity feels distant. You stop chasing emotional certainty and start trusting the chosen direction. That shift alone can change the entire trajectory of a life. Stoicism offers no comfort fantasies, only this solid ground. Stand on it long enough, and you will not be easily moved. This is how inner mastery is earned. One decided action at a time, repeated until discipline becomes second nature, and freedom becomes permanent. Within. 4. Feelings seek comfort. Plans build strength. Feelings are not evil, but they are comfort-seeking by nature. They look for relief, safety, and ease in the present moment. When you are tired, feelings ask you to rest, even when rest has already become avoidance. When you are frustrated, they ask you to withdraw instead of confront. When you are bored, they ask you to escape rather than endure. Left unchecked, feelings optimize for comfort today, not strength tomorrow. A plan is built for a different purpose. It does not ask what feels good right now. It asks what will make you stronger, steadier, and more capable over time. A plan understands trade-offs. It accepts temporary discomfort in exchange for long-term stability. This is why following a plan often feels harder in the moment, but easier in life. Comfort feels good now and costs later. Strength costs now and pays later. Most people confuse comfort with peace. They believe avoiding discomfort will make them calmer, happier, and more balanced. In reality, chronic comfort creates fragility. When life inevitably applies pressure, the untrained mind panics. Stoicism understands that controlled hardship is not cruelty. It is preparation. Voluntary discomfort teaches you that you can survive unease without collapsing or escaping. Seneca wrote about practicing poverty, hunger, and simplicity, not because he valued suffering, but because he valued freedom. He wanted to know deeply and honestly that comfort was not a requirement for dignity. A person who needs everything to feel good before acting is not free. They are dependent on conditions they cannot control. When you follow your plan instead of your feelings, you train resilience. Each time you choose effort over ease, you widen your capacity. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable. What once required willpower becomes routine. Strength is built gradually, quietly, without applause. And unlike comfort, strength does not abandon you when conditions worsen. This is why disciplined people often appear calm. They are not immune to discomfort. They are familiar with it. They have practiced staying present inside it. They do not panic when things feel hard because they have learned that hardness is not a signal to stop. It is simply part of the process. Feelings will always argue that today is special, that this moment deserves an exception. A plan reminds you that progress is rarely dramatic. It is made in unremarkable moments where choosing correctly feels boring, inconvenient, or unrewarded. Strength is built there, not in moments of inspiration. There is a deep dignity that comes from doing what is hard, but right. It creates a quiet pride that does not need validation. You know who you are because you have evidence. Your actions tell the truth even when your emotions try to distort it. This is how self-respect is earned, not imagined. Over time, the roles reverse. Comfort becomes less seductive. Strength becomes familiar. You begin to crave order more than ease. Discipline stops feeling like restriction and starts feeling like stability. You realize that structure did not cage you. It protects you from drifting into weakness. This is the Stoic paradox. By denying yourself constant comfort, you gain lasting peace. By choosing effort, you reduce inner chaos. By following your plan, you free yourself from the endless emotional negotiations that exhaust so many people. Feelings will still visit. They will still ask for comfort, but they no longer decide. You decide. And each decision reinforces a simple truth. Strength is built deliberately, not emotionally. This is how a resilient life is formed. Quietly, repeatedly. One disciplined choice at a time. 5. Discipline is remembering why you started. Discipline is not the ability to force yourself endlessly. It is the ability to remember. When motivation fades and emotions lose their spark, discipline recalls the reason you began before comfort entered the conversation. Most people quit not because the goal stopped mattering, but because they forgot why it mattered in the first place. Memory is what keeps effort alive when feeling fails. At the beginning of any meaningful path, clarity is strong. You know what you want, what must change, and what you are willing to endure. That clarity does not disappear because it was wrong. It disappears because emotion grows louder over time. Fatigue, doubt, boredom, and impatience blur your original vision. Discipline exists to protect that vision from erosion. Stoicism teaches that a person must return repeatedly to first principles. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself constantly, not because he was forgetful, but because he was human. He knew the mind drifts. He knew emotion clouds, judgment. Writing, reflection, and repetition were his way of anchoring himself to purpose. Discipline is not rigid intensity. It is a deliberate recall. When days feel heavy and progress seems invisible, your feelings will ask, "Why keep going?" Discipline answers by pointing backward. It reminds you of the pain that made you start, the values you chose, and the version of yourself you refused to remain. This memory is not emotional nostalgia. It is grounding truth. Many people chase motivation, hoping it will return and carry them forward. Stoicism rejects this dependency. Motivation is welcomed but never required. Discipline understands that waiting to feel inspired is another form of delay. Purpose does not shout every day. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it must be remembered rather than felt. There is power in writing down your reasons, not once, but often. A clear why outlives any temporary mood. When temptation appears, when comfort calls, when quitting feels justified, your written reasons stand firm. They do not argue. They simply exist, reminding you that this moment is not bigger than your intention. This is how discipline becomes identity. You stop asking who you feel like being today and start acting as who you decided to be. The past version of you who chose this path becomes a guide rather than a stranger. You honor that version by continuing even when the road feels quiet and unrewarding. Remembering why you started also builds humility. It reconnects you with struggle, with need, with truth. It reminds you that progress was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be honest. When you forget your why, you romanticize comfort. When you remember it, you accept effort without resentment. Over time, this practice changes your relationship with difficulty. Hard days stop feeling personal. They become expected. You no longer interpret resistance as a sign of failure, but as confirmation that you are still walking a meaningful path. Discipline does not demand enthusiasm. It only demands loyalty. A life guided by remembered purpose becomes stable. You are less reactive, less tempted by shortcuts, less shaken by emotional weather. You know where you are going, even when you do not feel it. That knowing creates calm beneath the effort. This is why discipline outlasts feelings. Feeling forgets. Discipline remembers, and memory, when honored daily, turns intention into character. 6. Decide. Once, execute daily. Most people exhaust themselves not from effort, but from constant redeciding. Every morning they reopen questions that should have been settled long ago. Should I train today? Should I work on this goal? Should I keep this boundary? This endless negotiation drains more energy than the work itself. Stoicism offers a simpler, harder solution. Decide once, then execute daily. A single clear decision removes thousands of future arguments. When you decide in advance, you spare yourself from emotional debate later. The Stoics understood that willpower is not infinite, but structure is renewable. A plan eliminates choice fatigue by turning action into routine. You do not wake up to decide who you are. You wake up to be who you already chose. This is why disciplined people appear consistent. They are not constantly motivated. They are resolved. Resolution is quieter than motivation, but far more reliable. Motivation depends on feeling good. Resolution depends on remembering a decision. One fluctuates, the other endures. Deciding once does not mean refusing reflection forever. It means separating thinking from doing. Reflection belongs in planning, not execution. When it is time to act, thinking becomes interference. The Stoic acts according to prior judgment, not current emotion. This separation protects clarity. Execution, repeated daily, reshapes identity. Each small act reinforces who you are becoming. You do not need dramatic breakthroughs. You need steady obedience to the chosen direction. Progress hides inside repetition. Most people quit because they underestimate the power of unglamorous consistency. There will be days when execution feels empty. No reward, no validation, no visible progress. These days are dangerous because they invite doubt. Stoicism teaches that meaning is not measured daily. It is measured cumulatively. The value of execution often appears later, quietly, when strength is already built. When you decide once and execute daily, you stop bargaining with discomfort. You stop asking whether today deserves an exception. You understand that exceptions multiply faster than discipline. Consistency is not rigidity. It is respect for cause and effect. This approach simplifies life. Fewer internal arguments, less emotional noise, more forward motion. You conserve energy by removing unnecessary choices. Your mind becomes calmer because it is no longer fighting itself. Order replaces chaos. Epictetus taught that freedom is found in focusing on what depends on you. Your daily execution depends on you. Outcomes do not. Feelings do not. Other people do not. By committing to execution, you anchor yourself to the only reliable point of control. Over time, execution builds trust with yourself. You learn that you will act even when it is uncomfortable. That trust creates confidence without arrogance. You do not need to prove yourself. You already know what you do when it matters. Decide once. Execute daily. Let feelings come and go without a vote. This is how discipline becomes simple and life becomes steady. 7. When you follow the plan, you become free. Freedom is often misunderstood as the ability to do whatever you feel in the moment. Stoicism rejects this idea completely. Acting on impulse is not freedom, it is dependence. When your behavior changes with every emotional shift, you are not free, you are reactive. True freedom begins when your actions are no longer dictated by mood, fear, or desire, but by values you chose deliberately. When you follow your plan, something subtle but profound happens. You stop being pulled in different directions internally. The constant tension between what you feel and what you know fades. You no longer wake up negotiating with yourself, arguing over whether today you deserve rest, escape, or delay. The decision has already been made. That clarity creates mental space, and in that space, calm begins to grow. Most people believe discipline limits them. In reality, it protects them. Without a plan, emotions constantly compete for control. Comfort demands attention, fear demands safety, ego demands validation. Each one pulls you away from stability. A plan silences that chaos. It creates boundaries inside your own mind. Within those boundaries, you can finally move forward without being torn apart internally. This is why disciplined people often appear peaceful, not because life treats them gently, but because they are no longer fighting themselves. They do not waste energy resisting their own commitments. They simply act. That alignment between intention and behavior creates inner coherence. And coherence is the foundation of confidence. Freedom also appears in how you respond to difficulty. When something goes wrong, you are less likely to panic or overreact. You trust your structure. You adjust without collapsing. You endure without dramatizing. Following a plan trains emotional resilience without requiring emotional suppression. You still feel frustration, disappointment, or doubt, but those feelings no longer control your next move. Epictetus taught that the only true freedom is mastery of one's own will. When you follow your plan, you practice that mastery daily. You prove to yourself that external circumstances and internal sensations do not own you. That realization is deeply empowering. It does not make you invincible, but it makes you grounded. Over time, this way of living changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries, hopes, or intends. You become someone who does. Your self-image is no longer built on potential, but on evidence. You know who you are because you see it in your actions. That certainty is rare, and it cannot be taken away by criticism or failure. There is also freedom from regret. When you follow your plan, even imperfectly, you know you acted with integrity. You may not control outcomes, but you control effort and direction. That knowledge allows you to rest without self-betrayal. You sleep knowing you did not abandon yourself when it mattered. Eventually, discipline stops feeling like effort. It becomes a rhythm. You move through your days with fewer emotional spikes and crashes. Life still challenges you, but you meet it with steadiness. This is not a dramatic transformation. It is a quiet one, and quiet transformations last. Freedom is not found by chasing better feelings. It is found by choosing a direction and walking it consistently. When you follow your plan instead of your feelings, you do not lose yourself. You finally become someone you can rely on. And that reliability is the deepest form of freedom Stoicism offers. Throughout this video, you've seen one clear Stoic truth repeated in many forms. Feelings are temporary, but direction is chosen. Emotions rise and fall with circumstances you cannot fully control. Yet your plan is created by your calmest and most rational mind. When you follow that plan instead of your moods, you stop drifting and start living with intention. Discipline becomes less about forcing yourself and more about honoring decisions you made with clarity. This is how strength, stability, and inner freedom are built over time. The real value of Stoicism is not in understanding these ideas, but in practicing them. Start small. Decide once on what truly matters, and then execute daily without renegotiating with your feelings. Notice how much calmer your mind becomes when emotions are no longer in charge. Notice how self-respect grows each time you act in alignment with your plan, even on difficult days. If this message resonated with you, take a moment today to write down your plan and your reason for starting. Let that guide you forward when motivation fades. Thank you for spending your time here and engaging with Stoic wisdom. Your attention means more than you know. If you found value in this video, support the channel, share your thoughts below, and join us again next time as we continue exploring how ancient philosophy can help you live with strength, clarity, and quiet control in the modern world.